Hello, everyone. My name is Lori Devine Roberts, and I am the owner of the Devine Touch Weight Loss Center in downtown Westerly. And I wanted to welcome everyone watching and also who will be watching in the future this recorded Zoom call. We have been collaborating with Marie Dam, MD, to create a revolutionary telehealth weight loss program that combines coaching, accountability, education, and semaglutides for greater success. Everyone's probably heard of semaglutides recently. It's been the rage on social media because it's safe, effective, and it works. So it's been a lot of work behind the scenes over the last few months, and we are really super excited to finally be able to offer this to the general public. As with any other protocol or product that we bring into our center, we need to educate ourselves first and, when possible, be an advocate for it by using it. So I personally needed to know firsthand what the side effects of semaglutide would be, even though minor, what it would feel like. Would I be tired? Would I be energetic? How much nausea would I have? So a few months ago, about 3 months ago, I decided to go on the semaglutide protocol with Dr. Marie Dam. And the results that I've had myself personally were that I've lost quite a bit of weight in the last 3 months. I'm extremely happy with how I felt during the program with minor nausea, like very minor. I've had good energy, and so now it's time to actually bring it into the practice. I have, I'm going to now turn this program over to Dr. Marie Dam, and she has prepared an educational video explaining what semaglutides are and how they work, the potential side effects, what are peptides, who is and who is not a candidate, and of course, price options and how this combined program can benefit you. At the end, Dr. Marie Dam will do a short, and I will do a short Q&A. So stay tuned to the entire end, and we hope that you are as excited as we are about this opportunity. Thank you very much, and enjoy Dr. Dam's talk.
Hey, everybody, and thank you for joining this conversation on semaglutide and the uses in weight management. My name is Marie Dam. I'm a physician originally trained in internal medicine and emergency medicine, and then I went back and retrained in functional medicine, which is much more of a holistic approach to health. Rather than chasing symptoms of disease, we're trying to get at the root of the problem. And ultimately, optimum health, I think, is what we'd all really like to have. We want to be vibrant. We want to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. It's not how long you live, it's how well you feel and how vibrant you are and how much you can enjoy your life, which health is a large part of. Today, we're going to be talking about semaglutide, which is a peptide that is being used in weight management. It's innovative and it's very attractive for many reasons, and we'll go over those. For those of you that are interested in an actual program using that, we have outlined that as well. So let's get into it. Weight loss has been a very personal issue for me, and these are pictures of me. The one on the bottom, I believe I was probably 13 or 14 years old, and this is a more current picture of me on the top. But it was not unusual for me to come home from school and have a snack, which was coffee ice cream, Fritos or Cheetos, or RC Cola, and then go back and have another glass, or I used to put them in glasses, of coffee ice cream. So I had very bad eating habits from the beginning, and when you're young and you fill your fat cells up, you have cravings and you're always hungry. And my life has been one journey to try to control my weight. When I had this picture taken years ago, Disney World had just opened. I believe that was 1973 or 74, somewhere in there. And um, I would stand in line with everyone else waiting for a ride, and everybody was so thin and had halter tops and beautiful figures, and I felt like I was the most worthless, horrible person ever and could never be happy. Um, I judged happiness by how slender you were. That was the measure of how happy you were. So a fat person like myself couldn't be happy, and I wasn't. Over the years, I've done deprivation diets, and about 15 years ago, I had many years of irritable bowel and realized that I was very sensitive to gluten. And when I stopped eating gluten, I was able to control my weight much easier. But still, I had to watch every man that I was with eat bread and pizza and pasta and desserts, which of course I would never have gone near. And I always felt deprived and hungry. Um, Now with semaglutide, it is amazing because the hunger and the cravings have left. And it's such a peaceful feeling that unless you've really been there, you just can't quite understand. You have control over your food choices, over what you do in the day, because it's not all built um, around your food and your meals. I found it difficult to have relationships with people because my food was so limited and I was so focused on it and I was so unhappy and couldn't really use food socially. So this has really changed my life, and it is a wonderful tool. It is not the whole answer, but it is a wonderful tool. The other thing I will say about weight management is at some point you do have to make peace with yourself. And that involves a lot of mental and spiritual acceptance of your worth and your value, not based on your body, but based on um, your life force and your soul. And I think that that is a big piece of um, weight management. My story is not particularly unusual, unfortunately. Many Americans are overweight and many are obese. The statistics on this are incredible, and all you have to do is look around, including children that are coming up these days for a variety of reasons. So our goal was to bring you a safe and effective tool for weight loss um, that really works, that uh, is safe, and not only safe but healthy. It improves your metabolism, it improves your insulin sensitivity, it decreases your appetite, and it is a comfortable way of losing weight. I have personally been on, I think, every diet, and although many of them work, it really is about changing your lifestyle. But while you're dieting, you want to be comfortable and you want to be able to live your life. Um, Peptides are incredibly innovative, and we're now using them as a way to accomplish um, many innovative things in medicine. Speaking of peptides, what is a peptide? Well, it's a small string of amino acids that are linked together in a particular geometric form. They occur naturally in the body. And one of the peptides you might know is insulin, for instance. However, there are thousands of them, and they are recognized by cells and organelles everywhere. And depending on the cell they signal, the outcome is different. So, for instance, it might do something different to a heart cell than it does to a gastrointestinal cell. So, semaglutide, for instance, affects your gastrointestinal tract. It also affects your brain in a good way. It can decrease inflammation. It can lower blood pressure, for instance. And it's doing all of these things at the same time. And so it almost sounds like too good to be true. How could something do that many different things? But it's because it's a cell signaling molecule, and it allows the cell's innate intelligence to take over and determine the effect. It's not a drug. It is a shortcut to open pathways, and there are many, many different peptides in our bodies, and there are many different peptides that we use medically as well. So the old way of losing weight was just willpower and pure determination. We don't need to do that anymore. Semaglutide gives you a biologic advantage to get rid of the weight for good. So let's talk about this molecule that I keep mentioning. It's a GLP-1 receptor agonist, and there have been a fair amount of studies done on it. And in many cases, the outcomes of the studies for weight loss is a little short of, but very close to that seen with bariatric surgery. Many people can lose 15 to 20% of their body mass. So that really is quite amazing. So here are a couple of studies, two studies. One is from the Journal of the American Medical Association, and after 3 months of being treated with semaglutide, the participants had a mean weight loss of 5.9%, and after 6 months, 10.9% of their body mass. Of the ones that were still there at 6 months, 87% had lost 5%, 55% had lost 10%, 24% had lost 15%, and 7.8% had lost 20% of their body mass. Now, this is fairly remarkable because on semaglutide, it takes a few months to get to the dose where you are losing weight. And so just to be on semaglutide for 6 months is a relatively short time. In the second study here in the New England Journal of Medicine, it was 68 weeks of treatment. So it was longer than a year, and 7 weeks of that treatment was when they stopped everything. Okay, so they treated the patients, and then they stopped everything for 7 weeks to see where everybody would stay. And 14.9% of them, I'm sorry, there was a 14.9% body mass loss at that time versus 2.4%. So in this particular study, they asked them to consume 500 calories less than they expected to burn every day, and they asked them to exercise 150 minutes per week. So 70% lost 10% of their body mass, 50% lost greater than 15%, and 33% lost 20%. So those are pretty impressive numbers for weight management. In these studies, some of the other effects um, that were found, of course, decreased waist circumference, which has to do with metabolic syndrome, improved blood pressure, improved hemoglobin A1C, which is a measurement of insulin sensitivity or being insulin resistant, improved lipid levels, and probably, I would say, most importantly, decreases in the CRP, which is a measure of inflammation of the body. Semaglutide works various ways. One, it delays gastric emptying. So you can eat less food, feel full, and it takes a while for it to go through your intestines, so you stay full longer. It does suppress your appetite. Um, it affects the leptin and ghrelin in your body so that you just don't feel as hungry and don't have the cravings. It stabilizes your blood glucose. And so all these things together mean that you can use your rational brain to make better choices for your food, your exercise. The cravings stop. Many people have cravings that stop for alcohol as well as sugar and carbs and other foods. Um, you realize that you can get along with a whole lot less food and it stays satisfying. So I included this slide to show you some of the other effects that I was talking about. Remember, I said peptides do lots of different things to different tissue types. So even though this isn't particularly regarding weight management, I want to give you the feel for what a phenomenal effect peptides have. So semaglutide aids in the reversal of type 2 diabetes, but we never use it in type 1 diabetes. It improves the insulin sensitivity. Everybody talks about what your hemoglobin A1C level is, blood pressure, heart rate, but it also repairs damage after a heart attack. It improves the squeeze of the heart. It also takes away beta amyloid plaques in the brain that are associated with Alzheimer's disease, and it improves memory and learning. So this is just an example of some of the other things that it does that we're grateful, but it's really out of the scope of the weight management. It has relatively few side effects. Um, because it's slowing the transit time down in your gut, you might have some nausea or heartburn. Generally, I have found that maybe with the first or the second dose, you have mild fleeting nausea. You start at a low dose and then you titrate it up. And if you go too fast, that's when you may get nausea or heartburn that you hear about on TV, because I believe they're not being dosed completely well. Constipation is another problem because it's slowing the transit down. And constipation cannot be tolerated. When you burn fat, you release a whole lot of toxins and other waste products that need to be eliminated from your body so you don't resorb them. So we sometimes we have you drink lots of water anyway. We might have you take uh, colon X, an extra colon X pill, aloe pill, something that moves your bowels. If you've had your gallbladder out, you might need another supplement called TUDCA. However, most people don't. That helps just move your bile. And you might notice that you're not buying as much food. So that's one of the side effects we like. Semaglutide is given injectable. So I don't want to scare you, but it is the smallest little insulin needle with this insulin syringe with the smallest little needle about the size of a human hair. And for the most part, you don't even feel it. It's not that it's not painful. You pretty much don't feel it. We teach you how to do that. It's done subcutaneously in your belly fat. It's only done once a week. It's painless, it's easy. We do increase the dose slowly, and that's why we have planned follow-ups and check-ins, because we have to customize it. It's a little different for everyone. There are basically three phases of a semaglutide program. One, you're trying to ramp up your dose in order to get to the right dose where your appetite is suppressed and you're losing weight. Phase two is when you just stay on that dose and you just lose the weight that you need to, hopefully all the while developing better lifestyle habits, better healthy habits, and you get to your weight loss goal. And then phase three is when you lower your dose of the semaglutide and raise, slowly introduce more foods, hopefully not really much more food, but you just kind of come off the semaglutide. There is a supplement that we use called Zenith, which helps to continue to curb your appetite as you're getting off of this. Now, I will say that because this is such a relief to not have the cravings and not have the appetite, it is used as a maintenance medication for many people that make that choice to stay on just a small little dose of it so that they are more comfortable and can eat a wider variety of foods. So this plan is really structured to get off of it, but there are some people that want to stay on it for an extended period of time for various reasons. Overall, you've got to remember that it's not a magic shot. It's great, but it's not a magic shot. You still have to meal plan. You have to eat nutritious food. You have to work out. You have to move. You have to learn a new way of healthy living. Coaching is mandatory because it really is all about changing your lifestyle and boosting up your metabolism. You will need to self-inject, as we said, and we offer this in as a 4-month program because it really does take a little while to get to the dose where you're going to lose the weight and adjust your lifestyle. Here again, if you want to keep the weight off, you've got to drink enough water, not only during the diet, but afterwards as well. You've got to sleep enough. So many people think that if they sleep less, they burn more calories. No, it's just the opposite. Sleep is restorative, and people that sleep more are thinner. And very importantly, you've got to control your stress. That may mean exercising, that may mean meditation, that may mean making good life decisions, balancing your work and your playtime. It means many different things to people. However, if your cortisol level is high, which is your stress hormone, it is going to block not only all of your hormones, but your neurotransmitters and your peptides. So that's a really important little piece here. In order for your body to work well, you have to exercise. You will never feel really great unless you exercise. And so that's different things for different people. Some people it's going for a 20-minute walk. Some people it's in the gym, hopefully using some weights. We really like the weight resistance. And for other people, it's much, much higher levels, Peloton, etc. We do feel that you need to decrease your toxins such as smoking, marijuana, and alcohol. That helps your body work better. Got to avoid sugar. Sugar is what inflames everything. It inflames your body, your brain, etc. And it is the root of everything going wrong in your body. You've got to eat nutritious food, not just tasty food. So everything, you're going to have a limited diet, so you've got to make really smart choices that are packed with nutrition. Usually that means they're packed with color, like vegetables and fruits and good sourced meats and nuts and avocado and things like that. And it's very important that you lean hard on your protein intake for this program. That seems to really make a very, very big difference. We start the program off with the Zymogen 6-Day Micro Detox Kit. This is because when you start burning fat, you release a lot of toxins and it's a great burden to your body. So it's very, very important that you are cleansed, that your colon is eliminating the waste, and that your liver is supported. So there are 4 products in this kit. One is a drainage drop that you start. The second one is a bowel mover called Colon X, which you will use throughout the program so as to have 1 to 2 bowel movements a day, which is actually mandatory. The third product is a probiotic, and the fourth one is a series of shakes that you would do in the first 6 days. The shakes last only about 6 days, but the other products last for 2 to 3 months or so, so they support you throughout the program. You may or may not need additional bowel mover if you don't. Some people do, some people don't, but it's very important for you to always have that. The program includes 4 months of semaglutide, the injections, of course, the syringes, the instruction, consultation with myself, and some brief check-ins, which are very important. They're very brief, but they're important to adjust your dose according to you and customize this program. There is coaching, which is very important. This is really a mandatory part of the program and really ensures your success. The coaching is through the Devine Touch, and there are a couple of options which we'll talk about. The meal plans, the education, all of that is so important because ultimately this is a mental game, and we are trying to reprogram our mind, right? So that takes practice and determination and dedication and a lot of support. Of course, there are also weigh-ins because we need the feedback. We need it for encouragement and we need it for guidance. As far as the coaching programs go, there are 2 basic programs to choose from. For those of you that are already familiar with the Ideal Protein Plan, the first one is basically phase 1. It includes meal plans, how and what to eat, your food tracking. It has an Ideal Smart app, Of course, it has body composition, weigh-ins, which is so important to measure your progress with. There are online recipes, there's a fitness portal, and there are weekly one-on-one coaching visits. There are access to daily coaching videos if you like. And so this is the full Ideal Protein Plan Phase 1. As part of option 1, you do receive 30 breakfasts, 30 lunches, 30 snacks, and a 30-day supply of nutritional supplements that go along with the Phase 1 Ideal Protein plan. Option number 2 is a whole food program. Mostly you're eating your own food and have your own food choices with, of course, some guidance, recipes, and tips for shopping. However, you do have one ideal protein meal per day as part of the program. With this plan, you have food tracking, the Ideal Smart app is available. You have the body composition weigh-ins. You have the private online recipe and fitness portal, the weekly one-on-one coaching visits, coaching videos if you choose to access those, and again, one protein meal replacement per day from Ideal Protein. Only you can decide which option works best for you, but I wanted to put this comparison slide up so you could directly compare the programs. Essentially, in most ways, they are very similar. They both are a 4-month program. They both include 4 months of semaglutide, medical consultations, and 2 or 3 week medical check-ins in order to adjust your dose and deal with any issues that might be coming up. They both include coaching from the Devine Touch weekly, biometric measurements, meal planning, tips, support, etc. However, the option number 1 has multiple ideal protein meals per day, so it's a little more structured in that way. And option number 2 has you eating more whole food with just a little bit of supplementation with Ideal Protein. You can see the prices reflect the difference there, with option number 1 being $1,043 per month and option number 2, $863 per month. We do, however, have good news. We do have an introductory special for those of you that have really been looking for this kind of tool in your life and to kind of, push your weight management along and body composition along. We are offering a special with option number 1 being $918 per month and option number 2 being $738 per month. You can talk to us individually about how the payments are done, whether they're weekly or monthly, or what your needs might be. However, the bad news is there is a cutoff date for this introductory offer. So you want to take advantage of this right now and get started. So for most of us, we have been looking long and hard for many years for ways of controlling our weight and controlling our cravings and our appetite and not letting that run our lives. So if you're somebody that's been looking for a tool like this, I'm glad you listened, and I'm glad you listened to the end. So we have this program. It is not a magic bullet. It is hard work to change your lifestyle, your mindset, and your metabolism. However, it is really a wonderful tool to get that started, to get that accelerated, to get that last little bit off, whatever your situation is. If you are interested, this is the phone number to call or the email. If you're listening to this live today, we will be taking questions afterwards for anybody that has any specific questions. We invite that, as I know that this is a lot of information all at once. But we are ready to get you started. It's really an easy process, and we'll try to make it as painless as possible. I'd like to introduce you to the team. I'm Marie Dam, and this is in the middle picture here is Lori Devine, and Audrey is the head coach. So we're all looking forward to talking with you. I really just want to thank you so much for tuning in to this presentation, and we will be taking questions. So thanks again, and hope you have a wonderful day.
Oh, that was quite an interesting webinar. Thank you so much, Dr. Dam, and we really appreciate it. And what I would like to do now is we have some questions that were emailed to us, and if you have some time, I'd like to ask you some of these questions. Is that good?
Certainly.
Okay.
Sounds great.
So the first one that I have is I've been doing IP, ideal protein, for a while now, and I'd like to know if I can add this program into my ideal protein protocol where I am right now.
Absolutely. That's part of why we even, talked about the different coaching options. But semaglutide works really, really well with a structured program like this because it really is about the lifestyle changes. And we always like for people to really lean heavy on the protein part. So the ideal protein is perfect for this program to support that extra protein. Plus, having the coaching is really the key.
Awesome. Thank you. The next question is, can semaglutide be used with other weight loss medications?
Yes, there are many patients that are diabetics, for instance, that are on some diabetic medications, and that it would have to be on an individual basis, of course, but that would be considered on an individual basis. Um, Most of the time, you don't really need a whole lot more. But it is possible to stack different medications, especially if you know that something is working well for you.
Great, thank you. Uh, Next question is, how long will it be before I see weight loss results?
So that question is a little tricky because everybody's different. I would say, in general, the healthier you are, the more active you are, the better detoxified your body is, um, and the less stressed that you are, which is a huge piece of this, the faster you might see weight loss from this program. However, there are some people where it takes about 6, 7, or even 8 weeks before they start seeing real weight loss because they really have to get up to a certain dose. that generally tends to be people that have more weight to lose, like maybe 100 pounds or more. Everybody's a little different. So it's kind of tricky.
Sound very customized, right?
Very customized, yes.
Okay, next question. How much exercise do I have to do?
So that depends on who you are, what you're trying to accomplish. We know that you just don't feel great unless you exercise, right? And that is one of the major things that kicks up your metabolism. So you've got to exercise, you've got to sleep, you've got to control your stress. And so that means different things for different people, right? So if you are kind of a low level athlete, maybe you kick it up a little bit. If you're not at all, maybe you go for a few walks a week. Maybe you go for at least a walk a day. So that's, again, sorry, but that is very individualized.
So just kicking it up a notch, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The next question is, why do I need a detox?
Well, your body has accumulated over a lifetime um, a lot of heavy metals, biotoxins, pesticides, electromagnetic um, energy, all of which is a great stress to your body. And when you um, when you have all of that, your metabolism tends to slow down and your biochemistry slows down because it's basically being interfered with by those substances. So most people do much better with weight loss when they get those processes in their body starting to work much more efficiently. Their liver, their kidneys, and even when you burn fat, you release toxins, you release heavy metals. Well, if they're just sitting in your gut and you're not eliminating your bowels, they get reabsorbed. So it really is very important that you have that drainage and that you are able to eliminate things as they come up. But also, it's really important to support your liver.
Great information. Thank you. Um, so how can you tell what my dosage will be?
Well, we always start with a very small dose in the beginning, and that is because your body has to get used to this. And everybody is very different. Some people have some nausea or reflux, and we want to avoid that. So we tend to start on a low dose, and then it just depends on your metabolism, your toxic load, how much weight you have to lose, how insulin resistant you are, as to what your final dose is going to be. And we'll only know that in time. So we start with a low dose, and then every week we go up as you can tolerate it. Very customized.
Okay, thank you. Um, Next question is, I heard that you can get bad nausea and constipated on this program. Is that normal for everyone?
Well, no, not necessarily. However, the constipation part is very important to support the drainage and the detoxification processes. So that's part of why we do the detox in the beginning. And you have a bottle of something called Colinex, which is a bowel mover, and you use that bowel mover on a daily basis as much or as little as you need. Maybe you need one a day, maybe you need two a day, maybe you need one every other day to have 1 to 2 bowel movements a day. So we pretty much covered that in the program.
Mhm.
As far as the nausea is concerned, some people go online and they hear about that kind of symptom as a horrific kind of thing. And in Western medicine, they kind of put everybody on the same dose in the same way. And these are different people. So everybody reacts differently. So yes, for some people, they're just moving their dose up too quickly. So we really try to customize things so that you don't have that. You might have a mild wave of nausea that kind of comes after your injection once a week or something like that. But if you're having nausea that is of any concern, that would be something I would want to know about, and we would adjust your dose accordingly.
Great. Um, just as a little side point, when I was dosing, I would have that exact type of nausea. Like the day after, it would last for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and that was it. It was done.
Right,
So,
right. It just doesn't seem to be a real issue as long as you walk your dosage up slowly,
mhm.
and you don't try to just push it too hard.
Okay. And this is our last question. So, what happens after the first 4 months? Because you said that we have to be on it for 4 months.
Well, the program takes a while to this semaglutide takes a while to get going. Then you have your weight loss period, which for everyone it's different, right? Some people want to lose 15 pounds, some people want to lose 75. You're going to stay on a dosage during that time, and then you're going to slowly decrease down off the semaglutide and increase your food to where you are in balance. It really does take 4 months, even if you have 10 or 15 pounds to lose, to really accomplish all of that. Some people might have a lot more to lose, and they may need to do an additional uh, program, essentially, which could be created for them as an individual, depending on how many months we expect that they would need. But at least by that point, we would know what their dosage is, so
Mhm.
that it could be customized for them.
Great. Um, is there anything else you would like to add to before we close off the session?
I guess I'd just like to say that, what we're trying to do here is to not make a one size fits all, but to understand that everybody has different needs. They have different situations. If they have different medications or whatever, I'm happy to talk to people about that, and of course take that into consideration. But in general, this peptide is pretty easy to tolerate, and it's really very exciting. And but it's not a magic bullet. It's not just, oh, take this and everything will be perfect. You'll be size 2 again, and have no issues, right? So it is a great tool. And if you've been stuck and you haven't, you've been doing everything right and you haven't been able to get that weight off, this might be part of the answer.
I love it. Great. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And I'm so looking forward to working with you on this journey together.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye.